Test, test, test. You can hear me? Test, test, test. I'm not sure. Test. Is that working? Yes. Welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn to page 2 in your liturgy books. Gata of Atonement, all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I'm sown for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I'm sown for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I calculate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra on page 4. Gray Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing the Prajna Paramita clearly saw all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness, no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, Shariputra, all things are essential, empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim gate gate para, gate parasam, gate isvaha, gate gate para, gate parasam, gate bodhisvaha, gate gate para, gate parasam, gate bodhisvaha. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds, and dedicated in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the Great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war, and to the Hoblet family, Karena, Chrissy, Griffin, Chris, John, Charles, Stephen, Reverend Eugen, Laverne, Roger, Soke, Karen, Evan, Sarah, Darcy, Karen, Elio, Ando, and Isan. May they have peace and healing. And to Cheryl and Bobby at the time of their death, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space Dharma school kids and teachers, please meet. No, there is no Dharma school today, sorry. Everyone prepare for Zazen. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant located on page 8 of the liturgy book. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for today's talk. Sit where you can face the teacher, and we in a moment will recite the Gatha on opening the sutra, also on page 8. Gatha on opening the sutra.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for choosing to come and be here today. I had a whole talk planned and on the Lankavatara Sutra, and then the Lankavatara said, you know, son, not now. This is not what needs to happen today. So when the sutra talks, I listen. I sit at the feet of the sutra, and I'm grateful. But instead, actually, there's an opportunity for what's called a mondo. And now, mondo is something that many here may well not have seen before. Rather than a Dharma discourse, which is more of a talk about something cognitively perceivable, or a teisho, which is a direct presentation of the shout, A Mondo, or a Dharma combat, by the way, this is not a Dharma combat. For those who know what that is, we're not going there right now. Keep it in the sheath, all right? Okay. But it is a Mondo, and a Mondo is kind of a, well, in fact, directly, it's a Q&A, all right? And the questions this is not an opportunity to demonstrate your koan or show how profound or whatever. But really just basic Q&A. I have some sense that it will be of use to us. Okay. Now this morning we had two groups pushing forward their understanding. One was the cohort digging deeply into the moral and ethical guidelines of our way, here known as Jukai. Right? If anyone in that cohort has a question or a prompt, now is the time. Well, one of the times. Okay? But have courage, please. If you're sitting on a prompt or a question and you're in that Jukai cohort, please, courage. Please voice the prompt. If I'm not asked, well, I have nothing to say. It's the way this works. The other cohort that we had was studying the Lam Rim. The Lam Rim is an inheritance we share from Geluk Rinpoche and the Gelugpa lineage of our Tibetan DNA. And it has to do with the whole Mahayana scope and path. Not much there, a few things, right? In fact, as it is, it's a 2-year cycle, I think we'll make it, but it's at least a 2-year cycle to go through one version of this. And then once that's done, next month starts up the other version, Babanka Sankapa. We will rotate back and forth. Anyone who's received Jukai is encouraged to onboard at the appropriate time. Those who have done so are encouraged to just stay on the train and keep studying this stuff, keep participating. So anyway, the other half is there's the Jukai initiates, here's a moment, and also Lam Rim folks. A lot of interesting content came up this morning, and there again, the feeling rose from the Hara that this would be a useful way to spend time. So if you're in the Jukai class, or if you're in the Lam Rim cohort, I, not the royal we, no, I am very happy to see if I can be of some use and help clarify any matter that might need it. And it doesn't have to be a specific question. It can also be simply a prompt. Can you say more about? That's totally fine. So that being said, I believe we have a mic. Well, of course, this is Weho. This isn't Mike. But Sweho has a mic, and if you would please do the honors, you were facilitating the online folk, and already there's one or two that has chimed in. Let's get the ball rolling.
Okay, I have a couple of questions from the Lamrim class to start us out with. After this, if you have something that you would like to pose to Rinzin Roshi, if you could make a gasho really obviously so I can find you and I'll bring you the mic, okay? So to start out with, can you discuss skillful means in interacting with those who are not aware of their suffering?
Can I discuss skillful means in interacting with those who are unaware of their suffering? As I was saying this morning, it's one of the most difficult situations to confront when you have someone who's causing great suffering, but they are unaware of it for themselves or others. Someone who's really hurting, but they don't feel it. They cannot tell. They're very difficult. If you are in right now or at some point in your life feeling a great deal of pain, you should be happy about that because that means you can feel. So this is good. And this is far more common than you may think. And it's not all just a yes or a no. There are levels. Maybe you're very, very connected in a certain area, but over here, blind spot, right? So what can happen in these times, the most skillful thing is to find some way, if it's possible, and it's not always possible, but believe it or not, to be a bodhisattva antagonizer. Show up as the bodhisattva of irritation. Hi, could you go? Okay. Oh, good. It's good. You don't stay there, by the way. You don't inhabit that forever. You're simply trying to shake someone awake a little bit. You know, get out of it, dude. It's that kind of thing. In the different realms of suffering, there is always a way for a bodhisattva to arise. The way the bodhisattva arises in that realm directly depends on the realm that they're in and the suffering that's showing up. If someone is frozen and has lost all sensation, you must bring heat. I have spoken. A further?
The second question, in terms of the Lamrim path, where the goal is to stop cyclic existence, within the trainings of ethics, concentration, and wisdom, where does compassion reside? In all of them? Between them? Can you talk about that?
Ethics, wisdom, and
Ethics, concentration, and wisdom.
Yeah, well, they missed one. Yeah, there's the compassion, so I'll address. So compassion has two components or two manifestations. One I will call mundane compassion and the other super mundane compassion. And you see this happen a lot, okay? The mundane compassion is more like what you might think of as empathy or sympathy or care, a wholesome version of those things where you can tell someone else is in trouble and you do give a care. You give a care, you care. That's not yet karuna, okay? Karuna is where you realize directly that your nature and the nature of the other being suffering are precisely the same. And in fact, you are both two digits on the same hand. There's no way for the pinky to be in pain and the thumb not to have consequence. We're all of the same body. True karuna comes from this perspective of the one body manifests differently and responds immediately in correct way. Okay? So concentration is the necessary beginning on the path. If your mind is subject to mood and impulse, circumstance, things that attract or repulse, and you're just helplessly kind of yanked around by these things in the mind stream, you will never notice. Your mind is too lightweight. You're a lightweight. Your mind is a lightweight. You might have a PhD in something very heavy, which is true. But still, from a Buddhist perspective, yeah, your mind is a lightweight. What do I mean? Any little breeze comes by, your mind goes there. You have great knowledge in some field, perhaps, or not, fine. But then you know, someone says something, or someone doesn't say something, yeah, over and over, like a leaf blowing in the wind that has no root. Now, a tree's got a root. A tree is far deep into the ground as it is up. So concentration is developing the rootedness of your mind, the ability for you to put your mind in your hara and actually have it durably be there while something unwelcome is going on or while something particularly wonderful is going on. You can become a lightweight in either situation. Oh, yes, you can. This is not a matter of trying to make things always be pleasant or happy or trying to stack the pleasure deck as high as you can. This will fail you. If you should be so unlucky as to succeed in doing that, now you have the tragedy of living in light of this great pleasure, which you will never again be able to recapitulate succinctly enough. You understand? Nothing wrong with pleasure. If your instinct tells you to be afraid from something, trust that. But the freedom from those things depends on your mind being heavy. Your hara has to be heavy. Your concentration power has to have the weight of a mountain. The clouds come, the clouds go. Little critters make nests and come and go. Storms arise and beautiful spring breezes. Always the mountain is rooted in there. Your mind can become like this. Your mind must become like this. This is the essential step along the path. You must get custody of your mind stream for real. Stop trading your life for an endless drip of meaningless distraction on that damn phone. Cut it out. No one's going to save you from that. No one is going to show up and say, hey, it's not going to happen. There's a lot of money and circumstance invested in keeping you glued to that damn thing. You wonder how to practice this? There's one good way. Take custody of your relationship with these things. I'm not a Luddite, but I'm aware. I'm awake. The real way to develop this concentration is in Zazen. And here, I must say, there are many noble paths of meditational practice, but none, in my view and experience, the same as what we do in our Buddha Dharma Zen training. The first thing a beginner hears is put your mind in the one point, in the center. You must concentrate your mind in the root of your own hara, in the root of your own center. You must learn how to actually land your awareness in this place. 3 fingers below your belly button, in about yo much. Be able to land your awareness there and have it root and be grounded. Why? So that when life comes and blows around, you have a root like a tree. Yeah, the branches will go, but the roots hold fast. This is concentration. When concentration is clear, then the disturbances of the mind lose their grip. You are no longer pulled and pushed by the attractive and the scary in the same way. You see it. You don't become a stone statue or something. It's not about trying to compete with Mr. Spock's logic all the time, you know? You feel things, but bottom line, that root is heavier in weight than any storm coming by. Then you can choose. Shall you engage? Shall you not engage? Is this a wholesome amount? Is this an unwholesome amount? Then you can make decisions because you're actually driving the car now. Before that, you're not driving the car. Dear one, you are a puppet to this uncritically examined algorithm in your mind that just operates on its own whim. Don't put up with that. Even if it trades you cheap pleasure, don't take the trade. It's not a good deal. True bliss and joy is way, way, way beyond cheap pleasures. When that concentration is landed, then the mind stream becomes settled and clear. Instead of all the turbulence and craziness and all the crazy train. Oh, Ozzy. I owe Ozzy a lot, I'll have it said. He was a huge influence on me. The music of Black Sabbath, the guitar playing of Randy Rhoads, the music that those people put together is, it's good stuff, in my opinion. Anyway, the mind settles, and then you can actually see this true nature. You can see for yourself. If this finger can actually stop just sensing out, which is its normal go-to, and imagine if the finger could start to sense in, which it will not naturally do. But if the finger could start to sense in and go, wait a minute, what the hell is that? There's a thing there. You can't sense it from the outside because this isn't what that does. But let us say there's some way in which this finger can start to feel inside itself and it feels a bone. Well, nothing's wrong. It's been there the whole time. It's how things go. You just never noticed it. It's okay. And then you start to notice and you can trace that bone down and go, wait, this bone's connected to the other bone, connected to this bone, and all these other bones. And then you actually, let us say the finger can feel for itself directly how everything is one. And then now, when this finger's in trouble, this one is responding to it from karuna, real compassion, compassion informed by wisdom. This we have here, we have Kuan Yin to Buddha's left. This is an embodiment of compassion. She sees clear as day the true nature of things, but responds impeccably and beautifully because she hears the cries of the world, and she has a tear too. I've spoken.
Okay, are there questions?
My name is Enmei. My question, I think, is very much a follow-up to what you just finished saying. From the Lamrim this morning, these are my notes, but I think they're a fairly good paraphrase of what was going on there.
I'm sure.
It says, take care of the animal self really well.
Yeah.
The samsaric ego has a vested interest in, and then the analogy you used was the mocha broca frou-frou from Starbucks, but then you did say, choose your favorite mode of suffering. And the part that really kind of hit home for me was following up, the favorite mode of suffering is that which sells itself as relief. So like that which sells itself as relief from suffering is in fact itself a mode of suffering.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what you were just talking about, but you, this is a distressing concept to me. I don't want to give up my mocha broca frou-frou. But you talked about wholesome amounts and frequency and, control rather than cutting out entirely. How do you trust that what you're doing is a wholesome amount and is not just your samsaric ego talking?
Yes. Okay. So the pith of the question, dear one, is how can you tell wholesome from unwholesome? And is this in relationship to the taking care of the animal self? Yeah. So in the human realm, well, put your hand up if you are an animal, please. And yeah, okay. So there we go. Okay, yeah, there you are. You animal. Yeah. I mean, if you try to simply live in the clouds with the gods, you're too heavy, dude. You step on that cloud, you're going to drop. Okay? So the first thing is, how do you be a good animal? This is one very important point. Many people that have a spiritual, even that word in English, spiritual, like it's about spirits and stuff. Really? Is that what this is about? We're trying to spirit things? Are we spiriting away? Is that our big plan? Great Miyazaki film, by the way. I recommend it. But yeah, in English, that's the word we inherit, so we go with it. Spiritual practice. Animal practice. How about animal practice? Can you become an awakened and alive animal? Can you be a wholesome creature of the earth? Reverend Shokai brought us some poetry last night, speaking about the feet walking on the planet that has been here for billions of years, that is of that planet. Can you realize this? Do you know that your feet are the planet? Have you seen this yet? You don't just walk on it, you are it. And yeah, you're walking around on it. But those feet of yours, those are the lotus feet of the Buddha. Take care of your feet. And I mean it literally. Do you know your feet? When's the last time you paid any attention to your own feet? On and on and on and on and on. Sadly, many that come to this way enter through pure intellect. We think about things. I like thinking. Thinking is good. You should also be a very good thinker. Clear, sharp, precise, good, critically minded thinking. You must have it. But also, good animal, you must have. Now, exactly what does that mean? Well, it varies. One obvious thing, take care of your body. This is not a mistake. Your sexuality is not a mistake. The fact that you hunger for food is not a mistake. This is not a problem if you wield it well and healthfully and wholesomely. You must come home to yourself the way you actually are and begin with that. You have some mental idea about some spiritual way And this is the Titanic steering straight into a sea of icebergs. Because you're not, dear one. You're an animal. Enjoy your animal, but train your animal. Your animal must become refined, must be trained, must become strong and clear, must serve you and others well. So in my life, it's taken many different forms. Many here may know I've been practicing martial arts since I was, about that high. I still do to this day very much. Aikido is my preferred modality for many reasons. I'm not saying everyone here has to do Aikido. I'd love it, but you don't have to. Do something, though, that makes sense. Yoga is amazing. Tai Chi is great. Qigong is really good. Neigong is really good. Lifting, swimming, walking. Find your modality, and don't be surprised if it changes on you at some point. But you must always relentlessly find some way. Are you improving your animal self, or are you not noticing it? Because if you're not noticing it, that means it's going the wrong way. You're a follower of the wrong way. You are not paying attention. So this is another great challenge. People come into training and they expect Zen to be some kind of, I don't know what, all kinds of things. And it's very physical, is it not? Did not everyone here just sit a period of Zazen? Would anyone deny that's a physical thing to do? Okay, that's a physical thing you're doing. Yes, there's a mental component. Yes, there's the whole system is engaged. But you actually have to refine and polish the body to be able to practice in this way. If your body is again, just reacting and pulling you around by whim, you need to resolve that. Does that address, or is that a part of it? There was something else in there, was there not?
Well, my key question was when you're trying to decide how much, how often is a wholesome amount,
Yeah.
how do you know who's talking? Is it your samsaric ego talking, or is it your true caregiver self who's talking?
Right. Well, knowing is overrated. There's many things we need to know, but living in the not knowing and trusting it and being able to, not knowing doesn't mean just like it doesn't mean you're on the freeway and just close your eyes and let go of the steering wheel and trust the not knowing. That's a one-way ticket to a lot of problems, okay? So there is this thing we call the Dharma eye, okay? The Dharma eye is not the intellect. The intellect is beautiful, it's not the Dharma eye. The Dharma eye is your intuitive mind, let us say. The intuitive mind is a direct connection to the universal mind of the Buddha, of reality, okay? And when you train, you begin to you feel a way that you're actually in contact, and there's a conduit between this instinctive or intuitive or direct self, right? And it can be wrong, it's fallible. It's good to have colleagues who will say, I don't think so, and have a good, noble conversation about these things. But in essence, your intellect might get a piece, your feelings might get a piece, your hara might get a piece. If you have a situation where all of those are green lights, you're probably pretty good, especially if you run that through the filter of noble friends, okay? If in myself, I have one of those that's like red, like it makes sense, and my intuition is going there, but it feels like I really don't know. Well, I'm not going to launch. I'm going to address, why is this not cool? Like there might be a signal there I really need to listen to. Might be a false negative, but it might not be, right? So ideally, one has the Dharma eye, the heart feeling, the logic and clarity, and these things all line up. Life is messy, often it's fuzzy, but with time and experience, one actually becomes mindful in the true sense of the Buddha Dharma. Mindful here meaning able to discern wholesome from unwholesome. Okay? If you cannot tell, then it's very, you can't tell. So life experience, paying attention. If everything is not completely lined up, then don't place the entire farm on the bet. You know what I mean? Man, allocate a little asset here. Do a touch and see how it goes. Pay attention. Notice what's going on. Listen to what's happening. This is really the best I can offer. There really is no spreadsheet I can send over that will have all the answers. So the sooner we can cut that idea out of the mind stream and start paying attention to what we're actually feeling and where our feet are, where our hands are, where our eyes are, where our spine is, then the sooner we'll be on the right track. You cannot look to anyone to tell you these things. It's a good question. And the real answer is trust yourself and also check it with noble friends. I've spoken. I would like to also point out the Jakai folks. I think this has all been Lam Rim so far. So if there's a Jakai person with something on deck, you'll be next. Bujo, please.
Thank you. My name is Bujo. This is less of a question. It's so hard, but the whole class, the beginning of the class addressed this, and it was just like, this is like year 9, I guess, of practice for me. And I am so grateful to have noble friends and teachers with whom to check in, because you mentioned we're not practicing the monkhood. We're not, cutting ourselves off, but that is a valid form of practice for some people. I find myself, engagement is like the core of my being. I am deeply engaged in so many different groups and just people, and I'm a teacher and things and children, and with, the cliche, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm finding lately I'm around a lot of people who are clinging to ego serving, they really they want, from me, they want me to enforce that, and I just no, I can't, it's not right.
So what's the question?
Right, so, but skillful is not, excuse me, no, you're wrong, and here, so I'm finding myself just having to be deep and subtle, and sometimes just shut up, which I can do that. I know that is a shocker. Sometimes just nothing. I just am present, but.
So Bujo, where is the prompt that I can respond to? Succinctly, give me something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a subtle thing, but what Enmei just said, I think we can feel, when we are grounded, we can feel, even I am fueling the bad fire here. How do I fuel the good? The bad, the ego, this person's ego versus like I said, it's not, I don't really have a question. It's more of a noticing that this is my 24-hour-a-day practice. This is all manifesting daily.
Well, one thing I will respond to and all that, and I respect what you shared, not all monks are the same. There are ascetics and there are cenobitic monastics. So a cenobitic monastic in Western language is a monastic that lives in community. They've got a whole, as the world turns on and on, right? They are very much engaged in the world. Even those that live in that cenobitic life, communal monastic life, from a very early age and never have partners or children, let's say, they're really not ascetics in the full sense. The Arametical tradition of actual asceticism, like lone person in a cave kind of stuff, That's a true recluse, okay? So most Zen monastics are actually pair bonded, have had kids, probably had a career, if not two, along the way. Not always, but often. Or if not, they've been in the world and they live in a sangha. Okay, so there's plenty of interactivity here. Okay, that's one point to bring out. And then elsewise, like I said with Enmei, one must pay attention and note what is and isn't working. Stay with it.
My name is Jesse. My question is a bit twofold.
I have a short memory, so give me the first fold first.
Yes. Why is it that a lot of us, including me, are afraid of good change?
We're afraid of good change because we don't really know it's good. Next part.
The second part is, why is it so easy for us to get stuck?
Because stuck is fun. It's attractive. It might not seem so, but it's a safe place to be. Stuck. You're good at it. You're damn near professional at this point. You've got a career on the line here. We're Mr. and Mrs. Stuckness. We become acclimated to it. So it's the stuckness becomes what we're used to. Okay, so in music, let us say, most people will have just like what they feel to be a medium tempo. And if they're not really very sensitive, then no matter what else is going on in the band, they'll play their tempo without realizing it because they're used to it, okay? Now, someone who's very skillful, they'll be able to adapt their tempo to what's actually happening, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's easier to just play your natural medium tempo. That's about my natural medium tempo, okay? But if I'm playing with some guys and they start here, and that's medium to them, I need to be able to move there and feel that. And that initially feels very uncomfortable because it's not the medium tempo that I'm used to. But actually with training, this issue vanishes, you see. What ends up happening is when you realize a rut or a stuck place, then you can actually get to a point where that's very exciting because you can actually see it. And as soon as you see it, it's almost over. As soon as I can actually see this rut or this stuck place or this habit energy pattern in the terms of the Lankavatara Sutra, as soon as you can actually identify it for real, not just speak words about it convincingly, but I mean actually you can feel in your marrow that the tempo is actually here. Then you're just like falling out of bed away from doing it. So recognize what tune the leader has called and play it. I've spoken.
Is there another Jukai friend? Oh,
I want to be mindful that we have some kind of time limit on this. Please.
My name is Annabelle. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about respecting your karma and the relationship between karma and vow, and if karma can arise from a place of vow.
Say again?
So respecting our karma.
Respecting our karma.
The relationship between karma and vow,
Karma
and if karma can actually arise from that rooted place of vow.
The wounded place of vow.
Like a rooted place of
vow.
A
rooted place, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, a couple of points. A very good prompt, okay. Karma is cause and effect, okay. If I take this stick and I open my hand, it's not going to fall that way. Gravity goes like this, okay? So that's cause and effect, okay? So when a sentient being has a mind moment, nen, a bodhicitta, a mind moment of awakening the thought of manifesting full and complete Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi for the sake of all beings. When you have one instant of thought of coming to awakening, not just for yourself, but for all beings, then immediately from that moment forward in that being's karmic trajectory, there's a shift. Now, it may very well be that it takes some time before that instant of thought, which can occur when you're like in the 5th grade or something at the playground. It doesn't have to be all formal and Buddhist-y and stuff. Okay, it's a natural human thing, honest to God. Okay, but it may take some time for that to actually land. And then what happens is you seal it with vow. When you make vow, then you pack it, and it becomes like a diamond. It's the same material, but instead of this little thing, this vague thing, it becomes really, really refined and very pure, okay? Now, when this has occurred, it doesn't mean that karma stops. You will still have karmic patterns that need to play out. So if I've done negative things in my past, and I have a great mind of bodhicitta, let's say, and then I find my way to formally receiving vows, it doesn't immediately obliterate the karmic unfolding that has to happen. So one of the teachings is to say that it is a wise approach to realize that if something very unwelcome is going down, instead of just gritting your teeth and fighting against it, it's actually wise to fully accept this negative thing, because this thing has got to play out. And so if I completely accept, then it's much easier for that karmic logjam to kind of work its way through. The more I resist what is true, the more I suffer. So we have karma, right? Cause and effect. A being that is in full suffering mode is just at the play of cause and effect, and that's the deal. The mind of awakening arises, it gets sealed with vow. And this, when I'm doing this thing, I mean, this is what the initiation and empowerment of the Bodhisattva vows does, okay? Then karmic difficulties will play out. There are things that you can do that help them play out faster with less harmful consequence to erode the obstacles and obstructions to progress and development. All of these are within the path of training. But nonetheless, you still have karma. So even if I'm completely enlightened and I drop this, it's still not going to fall that way, even if I will it. Why? More training. You know, does that make sense? Yeah. But you asked something about karma from a deeply rooted vow. So here's the thing. We don't really use the word in strictly speaking Buddhist terms as I understand it. A vow will, yes, of course it has cause and effect, but karma, for whatever reason right now, it's occurring to me to say that that which comes from vow is pure. It's absolutely pure. There is no need for concern. There is no need to be concerned. If you have received and maintained with the initiation and empowerment of vow, and you're acting in the world, then everything will go beautifully. You can trust and just relax into that. There still might be some stuff that has to play out, but you're good. Okay? Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you.
I have spoken.
It's 12:36. One more?
One more. Well, we've got Kaish and we've got Ivy. Okay, 2 more. Make them succinct. Ivy first, please, if you don't mind, Reverend.
Okay. Kind of feel like I'm going to butcher it, but I don't know. We've talked a lot about like how emotions arise and they come and go, and we could just watch them come and go and sit with it. I guess I just wanted to hear more about, and like strong things influence you. Like, I don't know if you're having like a hormone problem or medication or even drug abuse. Like,
Yes.
it can really control your actions.
Yes.
And like, how is that separate from you as a person?
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole you as a person thing is an interesting place to push, right? No, it's very good though, because language exposes things and it's very good, okay? Yeah, we have common ways of saying things, yeah. So one of the essential insights, okay, that awakening brings is that there is no fixed you kind of in the center of things that actually has its hands on all the control mechanisms. It feels this way to us most of the time. The way our brains have evolved, we take all this sense input and manufacture a reality that we, perceive kind of from up here and so on, right? So it's natural enough to think this. But reality is that, when you look up at the night sky, at least you used to when I was a kid, you could see stars, right? And you look at it and you see the star, and it's a beautiful star, and then actually you get a telescope and it's not a star, it's a galaxy. So the more you zoom in, there's more there, right? And so this galaxy has many, many, many solar systems and all kinds of stuff going on in there, right? And that's what we are, right? There's no fixed thing. There are many interacting processes that amalgamate to what we experience as a self. There is a mind stream, and that mind stream is serious business, okay? So if we come back to your question, there are different aspects. If I have a chemical imbalance in my body, say genetically, and I'm predisposed, in fact, let's say guaranteed to have a run-in with heart trouble or bipolar disorder or some of these things, okay? That's an animal fact. That's an animal fact. No amount of meditation will change the basic animal fact of how gravity works or what my genetic dispositions are, okay? If I were to, and I won't, but if I were to take a knife right now and go, I'll prove my seriousness, and cut my finger off, I've proven my silliness, and I've lost my finger, and it's not coming back, at least in today's world, okay? So now where is myself in that? I think a helpful way to think about it is this. If any of us have a situation that is causing suffering, you want to use every means at humanity's disposal at this time to address it head on. Meds, therapy, talk therapy, meditational practice, everything. Everything. And the fact is, some things can't be undone. My finger will not come back, and now I've got to get a little finger cap like Tony Iommi has. I can play chords, but I have to have the little cap. Guitar player for Black Sabbath, just to make it clear. So physical facts. Does this make sense? So the sort of internal emotional irregularities, let us say, that have a biological component need to be addressed biologically. So very practically, there's been some hard-won lessons in the Zen tradition as it's emerged in America since the 50s, really 60s, that you keep taking your meds when you come to retreat, please. This is a really big thing, okay? Yeah. Oh, I don't need my meds. I'm going to be doing Zen. No. Suddenly I'm on Van Gogh's bridge. No. Take the meds. And you know what? Hopefully, in 10 years, we'll have better meds. And 10 years from then, better ones. And this is ideal. Clearly, we have better meds today than we did 100 years ago. Okay? Hopefully, society will continue to improve. Use all of that. Then accept what can be worked with and what can't. And within what can be worked with, work it. Like, do that. Like, if I lose this finger from stupidity, well, I still have these. Django Reinhardt actually had a horrible burn on his hand, a gypsy jazz guitar player, deformed. He basically only had these two fingers. And yet, virtuoso guitar player, changed the nature of guitar playing forever. Did he have his hand burned and say, well, I cannot play now? Well, he certainly couldn't play the way he did before, but it didn't mean he couldn't play. Be the bodhisattva of two-finger guitar. This you can always do. I've spoken. Final, Reverend.
My name is Kaishin. This morning in Lamrim, you were talking about different manifestations. You mentioned Red Tara, and you said something about that went in the direction of it's not the things. And it reminded me of the Buddha could appear right before me right now. It wouldn't do a darn thing
You
for
need to
me.
speak a little slower so I can catch it.
It reminded me of the teaching that says the Buddha could appear before me right now, and it would not give me enlightenment. It wouldn't do a darn thing for me.
Well,
And Tariki,
it'd probably scare the shit out of you.
it would. I would assume my blood sugar is low. But Tariki, other power.
Yeah.
We talked about Joriki in concentration practice, but we've also heard the teaching about Tariki, other power.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit about, this relationship?
I rely greatly on the power of the Mahasattvas. I am deeply connected to them. They take my call, and I make the call. Now, there's no one here but us chickens, okay? Also fully true. But each of the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas are an expression in a particular form of a particular aspect. So, is it self-power or is it other power? Well, it blurs, okay? But one needs to know how to rely on oneself. One needs to know how to rely on other. A word of caution: never take refuge in anything other than a fully awakened being. Just to say it. If for some reason you feel that you are able to connect and commune with beings not of the earthly realm, say some spirit entity of one kind or the next, you may very well be having an experience there. But from the Buddhist perspective, just because a being is like in a spirit realm or something, doesn't mean they're enlightened. There's suffering in those realms too. There's traps all the way up and down. There's also awakened beings all the way up and down. You can have an awakened mountain spirit, sure you can. That's good stuff. But you can also have a trapped mountain spirit. Watch out. Just because it's a mountain spirit doesn't mean it's something you should take refuge in. Okay? Always make sure that you're connecting with the awakened mind of love and compassion. This is the most important point. I will rely on love and compassion in any form it presents. I have spoken. Dedicate the merit of today's Mondo to all those who have no opportunity to ask questions, to all those who have no way to respond. May all beings throughout space and time come to full and complete Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. May it be so. Thank you, everybody. We'll conclude with the Bodhisattva vows.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow
practice it.